So I want to talk a little bit about pricing for used gear, be it drums or guitars or cymbals or really anything. But um, this is how I price. This is a question that comes up a lot in like used gear forums. People who aren't used to selling stuff will just sort of come out and ask, "What's this worth?" And then it becomes kind of an unsatisfactory process for everybody. But there's really not a whole lot to it. It's kind of intuitive if you give it a moment. So here's how I do it. I start with, if applicable, what's the new price of this item? And then I think, what's half of that? That's going to probably be pretty close to what I'm shooting for. Then I'm going to look at what does this sell for used? Uh, what does this or very similar things sell for used? And I want to look in different marketplaces. One, informal marketplaces like, say, GuitarCenter.com's used section, which is going to be sort of the high end of price for similar things. One step down is going to be like Reverb, where things tend to go for a little more than they do in, say, your local Craigslist. Then I'm going to look at Facebook Marketplace nationwide, and then Craigslist, and kind of gauge what's the spread in those numbers and how does that compare to 50% of new. Now, of course, with vintage items, you don't have the 50% of new, and you just have to go on to step two. So I'm looking at those, and then that's kind of gonna inform me, what's the range of prices this thing goes for? Where does the price that I'm seeing for this, for instance, if I'm thinking about buying something, where's the price fit in? If I'm thinking of selling something, I have to think, can I be happy being the most competitive price in the current market for this? Or is my margin such that I can't make a profit unless I become the price that's in the middle? Obviously, if you are the lowest priced example of this, where your condition is good, you're going to have an excellent chance of selling to whatever market exists for this thing in the first place. But the more you charge for it, the more people have to crawl over lower priced items to get to you. So I don't put a whole lot of stock on condition. I think that if something can be described as being in good condition versus excellent condition, that might make a difference of like 10%. Like, instead of being half of new, now it's like 60% of new. If you can say it's truly brand new in the box, you can justify charging more, but you're not gonna, no one's gonna ever pay you what it costs new. They would go to a store and get the protections of a return policy and all that, warranties and all of that. So I don't really get into trying to like split hairs over condition. I just want to know that something's not damaged. If things are damaged, I think that the pricing model's out the window, and at that point, and I've talked about this in terms of cymbals. I think that a crack in a cymbal basically makes it valueless as far as as far as resale is concerned. You can get something for it, but you can't predict what you can get for it, and the market for it is going to be very small. Like, you can't just say, well, it has a crack and now it's worth $80 instead of $100. It's not. It's worth $20 if it's worth anything. Um, that's just how I feel about it. It's probably more than you need to know, but yeah, you just sort of narrow the range and look at, can you be happy pricing your item at the lowest or near the lowest of available similar items in good condition that you can find. If that's true, in other words, like if you have enough margin to be happy on this thing that you're looking to buy, then do it. If you are trying to price something and find that you won't be happy, then settle in and make sure that your ad is the most appealing, that you have great pictures, that you have things to compensate for the fact that you are not the cheapest. Don't worry if someone comes along and has a fire sale. That is, of course, the kind of thing you're taking advantage of when you flip stuff. Is people who are like, get this drum set out of my basement, $50, and it's worth way more than that, and they don't but they don't value it, and then you swoop in and you take it and you sell it for a more appropriate market price. Anyway, hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully that's interesting. If there's something you feel I missed about, thinking about prices, thinking about what you're willing to pay, what you're wise to sell it for, then let me know in the comments. And till then, take it easy.